The soft hum of chatter filled the air at La Rosette, an upscale restaurant known for its impeccable cuisine and opulent ambience. Ethan Carter, a man whose presence commanded attention, sat at a corner table, nursing a glass of his favorite red wine. His tailored suit and poised demeanor exuded the confidence of a self-made entrepreneur who had weathered life's storms, yet there was a quiet melancholy in his eyes. It had been 2 decades since Juliana, his wife, vanished without a trace. Despite his success in the real estate world, the unanswered questions surrounding her disappearance remained an open wound. Tonight was supposed to be about closing a new business deal, yet Ethan's mind wandered to memories of Juliana, particularly her love for orchids, a passion she had passed on to him. As he gazed idly at the restaurant's elegant decor, a figure caught his attention. A waitress, balancing a tray of champagne flutes, moved gracefully through the room. Ethan's hand froze mid-air as the glass of wine hovered inches from his lips. His breath hitched. It wasn't possible. The woman's dark hair was pulled back into a sleek ponytail, her almond-shaped eyes brimming with warmth as she smiled at a patron. But it wasn't her beauty that stunned Ethan. It was how closely she resembled Juliana. From her delicate features to the way she tucked a stray strand of hair behind her ear, everything about her mirrored the woman who had been the love of his life. Ethan couldn't tear his eyes away as she moved from table to table. He struggled to ground himself in the present, yet the flood of emotions made his head spin. His thoughts raced. Could it be her? No, Juliana would be older now, and this young woman was no more than 22 or 23. But the resemblance was uncanny. When the waitress came closer, setting down drinks at a neighboring table, Ethan caught a glimpse of her name tag, Lily. The name seemed foreign yet familiar, like a faint echo of something long forgotten. Ethan's companion, a potential business partner, noticed his distraction and asked, "Ethan, are you all right?" "Yes," Ethan replied quickly, though his voice was shaky. "Excuse me for a moment." He couldn't sit still. Rising from his seat, he followed Lily with careful steps, his heart pounding. As she disappeared into the kitchen, Ethan's resolve solidified. He had to know more about her. Ethan returned to his table, his focus entirely diverted from the business meeting. The moment Lily emerged from the kitchen carrying another tray, he signaled for the maitre d', Marcus, a longtime staff member he trusted. "Marcus," Ethan said in a low tone, "the waitress, Lily. How long has she worked here?" Marcus blinked in surprise. "Lily? She's been here for about 6 months. Why do you ask? Where did she come from?" Ethan pressed, his urgency barely masked. "She mentioned she moved here from Chicago, looking for better opportunities. She's a bright young woman, always punctual, kind to customers. Is something wrong, Mr. Carter?" "No," Ethan replied quickly, though his mind was ablaze with questions. "Could you ask her to come over for a moment? I'd like to thank her for her service." Marcus nodded and stepped away. Ethan watched as Lily approached, her expression polite but cautious. "Good evening, sir," she greeted him. "Marcus said you wanted to see me?" Ethan hesitated for a moment, searching her face for any trace of recognition. "Yes, Lily, isn't it? I just wanted to commend you on your excellent service. You're new to the area, I hear?" "That's right," she said, her smile faltering slightly. "I moved here a few months ago. Bellevue has been welcoming so far." Her voice had a melodic quality, and though Ethan knew it couldn't be Juliana, he couldn't shake the feeling of familiarity. Impulsively, he said, "Have you ever considered working in a different field? Perhaps something more aligned with your talents?" Lily blinked in surprise. I'm not sure. Why do you ask?" "I'm Ethan Carter, CEO of Carter Enterprises," he explained, his tone steady. "I'm always on the lookout for capable individuals to join my team. If you're interested, I'd like to offer you a position as my personal assistant. The pay is far better than what you'd earn here, and the role comes with growth opportunities." Lily stared at him, her mind whirling. The offer was unexpected, almost too good to be true. She barely knew this man, and yet something about him felt genuine, though slightly intense. "I don't know what to say," she admitted. "Say you'll think about it," Ethan said, offering her a business card. "Call me if you're interested." Lily nodded, her fingers trembling slightly as she accepted the card. As she walked away, Ethan felt a mix of relief and apprehension. There was something about Lily that pulled at the strings of his past, and he was determined to uncover what it was. The next few days were a blur for Lily. She carried Ethan's business card everywhere, her thoughts oscillating between intrigue and suspicion. She had never encountered someone like him before. So composed, so enigmatic. His sudden job offer was baffling. Why her? At the same time, the chance to leave her waitressing job for a high-paying role was enticing. She had moved to Bellevue to escape the struggles of her past, hoping for a fresh start. This offer seemed like a golden opportunity, yet she couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to it than met the eye. One evening, after much deliberation, Lily dialed Ethan's number. "Mr. Carter," she said when he picked up, "this is Lily from La Rosette. I've been thinking about your offer." Ethan's voice was warm, yet there was an undertone of anticipation. "I'm glad you called. I understand this is a big decision, and I want to assure you that my intentions are genuine. If you'd like, we can meet to discuss the details further." They arranged to meet the following day at Carter Enterprises. When Lily arrived, she was awestruck by the sleek, modern design of the building. Ethan greeted her personally, leading her to his office. As they spoke, Ethan outlined her potential responsibilities, emphasizing how her interpersonal skills and poise would be invaluable in his company's expansion efforts. Lily listened intently, but couldn't shake the feeling that there was something unspoken lingering between them. "I'll need time to think," she said cautiously. "Take all the time you need," Ethan replied, his smile sincere. "I believe this could be the start of something meaningful for both of us." As Lily left, Ethan watched her go, his resolve strengthening. He needed answers, and this was his chance to find them. Meanwhile, Lily couldn't help but wonder if this opportunity would lead her closer to the future she desired, or deeper into the mysteries of her past. A week later, Lily stood nervously in the lobby of Carter Enterprises. She clutched her bag tightly, her heart racing as she took in the impressive surroundings. The glass-paneled walls reflected sunlight onto the sleek marble floors, and the faint hum of productivity filled the air. This was nothing like the bustling chaos of the restaurant where she had worked. It was an entirely new world. "Miss Lily," a voice called, snapping her out of her thoughts. A young assistant with a kind smile approached her. "Mr. Carter is expecting you. Please follow me." Lily followed, her apprehension growing with each step. When the assistant opened the door to Ethan's office, she was greeted by a spacious, elegantly designed room with a breathtaking view of the city. Ethan stood by the window, his demeanor composed yet welcoming. "Lily, welcome," he said, turning to face her. "I'm glad you decided to join us." "Thank you for this opportunity, Mr. Carter," Lily replied, her voice steady despite her nerves. "Call me Ethan," he said with a warm smile. "Today is all about getting you settled in. Let me show you around." Ethan led her through the office, introducing her to various team members and explaining her role in detail. As they reached a smaller room tucked away at the end of the hallway, Ethan paused. "This," he said, opening the door, "used to be a special place for someone very dear to me." Lily stepped inside and was immediately struck by the room's serene beauty. Orchids of various colors lined the windowsill, their delicate blooms creating a peaceful atmosphere. The room felt both inviting and melancholic, as though it held memories of a life long gone. "These orchids were her passion," Ethan continued, his voice soft. "She believed they symbolized resilience and beauty in the face of adversity." Lily felt a strange connection to the room. The orchids reminded her of something she couldn't quite place, a fragment of a memory just out of reach. She brushed her fingers over one of the petals, and a sudden wave of familiarity washed over her. "They're beautiful," she murmured. Ethan watched her carefully, his suspicion deepening. There was something about the way Lily interacted with the orchids, something that mirrored Juliana's exact mannerisms. He felt a spark of hope, but he knew he needed to tread carefully. As Lily settled into her new role, her days became a whirlwind of meetings, schedules, and adapting to the fast-paced corporate world. Yet, amidst the hustle, she couldn't shake the feeling that there was more to Ethan's offer than he let on. Ethan, on the other hand, grew increasingly fascinated by Lily. Her work ethic, her grace under pressure, and even her subtle quirks reminded him of Juliana. One day, as they worked late in his office, Ethan noticed something that made his breath catch: a small birthmark behind Lily's right ear. It was identical to the one Juliana had. "Lily," he said, his voice hesitant, "can I ask you something personal?" She looked up from her laptop, surprised. "Of course. Have you ever felt drawn to orchids?" Lily's expression softened. "Actually, yes. I've always felt a special connection to them, though I don't know why. My mom used to say it was a sign of something deeper, but she passed away when I was young. I don't remember much about her." Ethan's heart ached at her words. Could it be possible that Lily was connected to Juliana in ways neither of them understood? He decided not to press further, knowing he needed more evidence before revealing his suspicions. One evening, Ethan invited Lily to join him for a quiet conversation in the orchid room. He brought with him an old photograph of Juliana, taken years ago in their garden. In the picture, Juliana stood among a sea of orchids, her smile radiant and serene. When Ethan handed the photo to Lily, she stared at it for a long moment. Her brow furrowed, and she tilted her head, as if trying to place the image. "This woman," Lily began, her voice trailing off. "She looked so familiar." Ethan watched her intently. "Her name was Juliana," he said softly. "She was my wife." Lily's fingers trembled as she handed the photo back. "I don't know why, but I feel like I've seen her before. Maybe it's just the orchids. There's something about them that feels comforting." Ethan shared more stories about Juliana that evening, recounting her passion for life, her dreams, and the love they had shared. Lily listened with rapt attention, her heart aching for the woman she had never met yet somehow felt connected to. As the night wore on, Ethan couldn't shake the growing certainty that Lily was more than just a reminder of his past. She was a living link to it. However, he knew that revealing the full truth would change everything. For now, he resolved to keep his suspicions to himself and let time unveil the answers they both sought. The days at Carter Enterprises passed quickly, with Lily growing more confident in her role. Yet, there was an unspoken bond developing between her and Ethan, one that neither of them fully understood. It was during one of their late-night conversations in the orchid room that Ethan decided to share more about Juliana. "You know," Ethan began, gazing at the orchids, "Juliana wasn't just passionate about these flowers. She believed they represented resilience, strength to survive even in the harshest conditions." Lily smiled softly. "She sounds like an incredible person." "She was," Ethan said, his voice tinged with both pride and sadness. "But life wasn't always kind to her. She faced challenges that would have broken most people." Lily leaned forward, intrigued. "What kind of challenges?" Ethan hesitated, but something in Lily's earnest expression encouraged him to continue. "We lost a child," he admitted, his voice barely above a whisper. "It was one of the hardest moments of our lives. And not long after, Juliana disappeared. It was as if the universe decided to test how much one person could endure." Lily's chest tightened at his words. She couldn't explain why, but the story resonated deeply within her. "I'm so sorry, Ethan. I can't imagine the pain you must have felt." "It's strange," Ethan said, turning to face her. "Talking to you feels different. Like somehow, you were meant to be here." Lily didn't know how to respond, so she simply nodded, the weight of his words settling over her. That night, as she lay in bed, she couldn't shake the feeling that Ethan's story was connected to her own past. Memories she had long buried began to resurface, fragments of laughter in a garden, the scent of orchids, and a soft voice calling her name. Ethan's suspicions continued to grow, but he kept them to himself. Instead, he turned to a locked drawer in his desk, a place where he had kept Juliana's most personal belongings. Among them was a letter she had written shortly before her disappearance. In the letter, Juliana expressed concern about her brother, Edward, and his increasingly erratic behavior. She hinted at financial manipulations within the company and warned Ethan to be cautious. The letter weighed heavily on Ethan's mind. He had always suspected Edward's involvement in Juliana's disappearance, but he lacked concrete proof. Now, with Lily's arrival, those suspicions resurfaced with a renewed urgency. One evening, Ethan decided to share the letter with Lily. "I think you should see this," he said, handing her the worn envelope. Lily read the letter carefully, her brow furrowing as she reached the end. "Edward, your brother? Do you think he could have been involved in what happened to Juliana?" "I don't know," Ethan admitted, "but this letter raises too many questions to ignore. And there's something else." He paused, struggling to find the right words. "I can't shake the feeling that you're connected to all of this." Lily's heart raced. "Connected how?" "I'm not sure yet," Ethan said, "but I think the answers lie in your past. Do you have anything at all, that might help us understand?" Lily thought for a moment before remembering a small box she had kept hidden away for years. "There is something," she said. "It's from when I was a child. I'll bring it tomorrow." The next day, Lily arrived at Ethan's office with the box in hand. It was small and unassuming, its corners worn with age. "I've had this for as long as I can remember," she said, setting it on the desk, "but I've never really looked through it carefully." Ethan opened the box, his hands steady despite the anticipation building within him. Inside was a collection of childhood keepsakes, a tiny blue blanket embroidered with the initials JC, a faded photograph of a woman holding a baby, and a bracelet with a delicate charm shaped like an orchid. Ethan's breath caught as he examined the items. This blanket, these initials, Juliana Carter. It's hers. Lily's eyes widened. "How is that possible? I don't understand." "I think you might be my daughter," Ethan said, his voice trembling with both hope and fear. "But we need to be absolutely sure." The room fell silent as the weight of his words sank in. Lily stared at the photograph, her fingers tracing the edges of the woman's face. Deep down, she felt a connection she couldn't explain. "What do we do now?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "We'll run a DNA test," Ethan said firmly. "If you are my daughter, we'll finally have the answers we've both been searching for. But there's something else you need to know." Lily looked at him, her expression filled with apprehension. "If Edward had anything to do with Juliana's disappearance, he won't take kindly to us uncovering the truth. We need to be careful. He's dangerous, and he'll do whatever it takes to protect himself." As they prepared to move forward, a sense of determination filled the air. Both Ethan and Lily knew that the road ahead would be fraught with challenges, but they were ready to face them together in pursuit of the truth. The DNA test results arrived 2 weeks later, confirming what both Ethan and Lily had suspected. Lily was Ethan's daughter. The revelation was both exhilarating and bittersweet, filling Ethan with joy and a renewed sense of purpose while leaving Lily reeling from the magnitude of her true identity. "This changes everything," Ethan said, his voice thick with emotion. "You're my daughter, Lily. Juliana's daughter. She would have been so proud of you." Lily struggled to process the truth. "I don't even know who I am anymore," she admitted, tears brimming in her eyes. "I spent my whole life wondering about my past, and now it feels like I'm standing in the middle of a mystery that's only just begun." Ethan placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We'll figure it out together. But there's something we can't ignore. Edward. He was involved in Juliana's disappearance. I'm certain of it now. And if he knows you're here, he'll see it as a threat." Lily nodded, determination hardening her features. "Then we have to find the truth about what he did. He's taken so much from us already. I won't let him win." They began digging into the company's records, tracing Edward's actions over the years. What they found was alarming: discrepancies in financial reports, suspicious transfers, and hidden accounts. Every piece of evidence pointed to Edward not only embezzling money but also orchestrating Juliana's disappearance to cover his tracks. Their investigation didn't go unnoticed. One evening, as Lily left the office, she felt a chill run down her spine. A shadowy figure loomed in the alley, watching her every move. She quickened her pace, her heart pounding, and called Ethan as soon as she reached home. "Someone's following me," she said, her voice shaking. Ethan's voice was firm. "Stay inside. I'll send security to your apartment. We're getting too close to the truth, and Edward knows it. We have to be more cautious from now on." With security measures in place, Ethan and Lily pressed on. Their breakthrough came when Lily discovered a hidden compartment in Juliana's old desk. Inside, They found documents detailing Edward's fraudulent activities and a journal Juliana had kept in her final days. The journal revealed Juliana's growing fear of Edward. She wrote about her suspicions that he was embezzling from the company and how she planned to confront him. But her final entry was the most chilling. If something happens to me, it will be because of Edward. He's become desperate, and I fear he'll do anything to protect himself. Ethan must know the truth, but I need more proof before I can go to him. Lily read the words aloud, her voice trembling. She knew he was dangerous. She was trying to protect you and the company. Ethan clenched his fists, anger and grief boiling within him. He took her from us, and now he's going to pay. They brought the evidence to the company's board of directors. During a tense meeting, Ethan laid everything on the table: the embezzlement, the journal, and the years of deceit. Edward, who had been feigning innocence, grew visibly agitated as the board members began to turn on him. "This is ridiculous," Edward shouted, his facade crumbling. "You can't prove any of this." But Lily stepped forward, holding up the journal. "This is my mother's handwriting," she said, her voice strong. "She knew what you were doing, and she tried to stop you. You took her from us, and now everyone will know the truth." The room fell silent as the weight of the evidence became undeniable. Security was called to escort Edward out of the building as the board voted unanimously to remove him from his position. Edward's arrest made headlines, exposing his crimes and bringing closure to the years of pain he had caused. During his trial, more of his misdeeds came to light, including his involvement in Juliana's disappearance. While he refused to confess outright, the evidence against him was overwhelming, and he was sentenced to life in prison for fraud, embezzlement, and conspiracy. For Ethan and Lily, the aftermath was a mix of relief and sorrow. They had uncovered the truth and brought justice for Juliana, but the wounds of her loss remained fresh. To honor Juliana's memory, Ethan and Lily decided to transform the orchid garden into a public sanctuary, a place where people could find peace and resilience, just as Juliana had. The garden became a symbol of hope and healing, drawing visitors from all over the city. Lily also stepped into a larger role at Carter Enterprises, proving herself to be a capable and compassionate leader. Under her guidance, the company thrived, embracing a vision of integrity and innovation that reflected the values Juliana had once championed. As father and daughter worked together, their bond deepened. They shared stories of the past, dreams for the future, and a renewed sense of purpose. One sunny afternoon, as they walked through the orchid garden, Ethan turned to Lily with a smile. "Your mother would be so proud of you," he said. "And so am I." Lily squeezed his hand, her heart full of gratitude. "We've been through so much, but we made it through together. That's what matters." And as the orchid swayed gently in the breeze, Ethan and Lily looked ahead with hope, knowing that Juliana's legacy would live on in their hearts and in the lives they touched. In the end, the truth brought healing, and justice restored balance to their lives. Ethan and Lily, once strangers bound only by fate, became a family united by love, resilience, and the legacy of a remarkable woman. The orchid garden, now a thriving sanctuary for others to find solace, stood as a living testament to Juliana's enduring spirit. Ethan found peace in knowing her memory would inspire kindness and strength in generations to come, while Lily discovered her purpose in carrying forward her mother's values. As they walked side by side through the vibrant blossoms, they understood that their journey wasn't just about uncovering the past. It was about forging a future built on truth, hope, and love. Together, they honored Juliana's life, knowing that even in her absence, her presence was everywhere, guiding them toward brighter days. The orchids bloomed in radiant colors, a symbol of renewal, and beneath their shade, a father and daughter reclaimed the life they had lost and found a new beginning together. Thank you so much for listening to the entire story and joining us on this emotional journey. We hope it touched your heart as much as it did ours. If you enjoyed this story and want to see more like this, please give this video a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more captivating stories. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update, and leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts and reactions. Your support means the world to us, and we can't wait to bring you even more inspiring content. See you in the next video.